I think one could see this symposium as a sort of a final point behind a long process, a process of about 10 years, in which we completely refurbished, completely renewed all the permanent exhibitions of our museum. What I expect from these 2 days is that our guests, and especially the specialists that we invited among them, will frankly give us all the analysis, all the comments on what we have been doing in our renewal of the last 10 years. And moreover, we are very much interested in receiving at least the beginning, a bit of an idea of how to proceed with this museum, its exhibitions, its research. Because an ethnographical museum, like any museum, should be in a constant process of renewal. We as museum professionals, we are only passers-by in a wonderful historic building like this, with such wonderful collections like these. We change a little bit, and after us other people come who make other decisions. I'm very curious about the remarks and perhaps the directions that we get from our guests these days.
I'm Jyotindra Jain. I'm Professor of Art History and Anthropology at Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts in Delhi. I think museums as such, as institution, museum is a very problematic institution because, you know, in a very static space, it tries to represent fluid cultures, cultures which are vast, culture which are multifarious, and particularly Indian society, which has so many components of languages, religion, culture, history. So I think it's a mammoth task for anybody to represent India, interpret it, collect it, and bring it to people is a very, very difficult task. Compared to that, I think what has been done in this gallery is remarkably good because it has represented India's various religions, its various cultures, and more than anything else, it has succeeded in representing contemporary India too, that is India's popular culture and contemporary developments from within the tradition that has taken place. From that viewpoint, I think that it is a marvelously successful endeavor. There's a little comment that I'd like to make on the representation of popular culture, that somehow through the strategy of display as well as the whole concept, curatorial concept, somehow or the other an impression comes that that popular culture is as if sort of appended as an afterthought or as a footnote into the gallery. There was a whole process behind the rise of popular culture in India, and somehow if that process could also be highlighted, then it will become sort of integral part of India's evolution into the contemporary.
I'm Susan Vogel. I'm Professor of African Art at Columbia University and museum founder and director. One of the interesting things about museum exhibitions is you don't know what's in storage. So you see what's there, but you don't see what's not there. What's out is very interesting and quite satisfying, so I can't imagine that I would regret the selection. I particularly like the way the mask section is done, with the projections that then take over and cover the masks and replace them. The presence of all the audiovisual material is wonderful. I'm very interested by that, and I think it's quite successful. The variety of what's here and the way it connects to the subject matter is really very successful. There's always a problem with sound spilling from one area to another, and in some ways I think it's nice to be able to get away from the screen as a medium. In this exhibition, at least, you miss the histories of the objects, how they got here. You know, who exactly made them and how they got here. And a lot of times that detail is lost, and I know for the African collection the history is rather short.
My favorite object is the one that I have been just turning my back. It's behind me here. It's a dancing mask from Papua New Guinea, and I have always liked it from its brilliant colors, the way it so daringly puts together the red and the white and the green and the yellow. It so much illustrates for me the meeting of the early 20th century European artists with the brilliant colors and completely new shapes that have been brought from the 19th century colonial societies and collections into their world. And to me, this mask is a symbol of the meeting of East and West and North and South. It could be just an expressionist painting from the 1930s or 40s.